Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to the show. And yes, I am late again. And so this episode, for real, is about to be short because I'm going to record another one after this for this week because I got to get back on track. Like, listen, I told y'all I got a new job and it's, I'm in full-time ministry. Easter just passed. I work at a church that does a lot of content and a lot of things. And then the week after Easter, we actually hosted the KB concert. So that's a Christian rapper. There was a bunch of other rappers there. Flame. I think the other dude said his name is What Up RG. And I honestly feel really bad that I cannot remember off the top. Oh, no big deal. I can't remember everybody else's name off the top of my head. I feel bad about that because I actually got to meet a lot of them. I randomly was a runner. The concert was Thursday. So it consisted of taking people back and forth to the gym, to Walmart, running to Lowe's to get this and that, running to Walmart to get something else, took somebody else to Chipotle, took somebody to the airport, and then picked up the bus drivers when the concert ended. But I also got to go to the concert and didn't have to pay. And so such a random experience that was actually really, really cool. But with that, going from that right after Easter, it was just because everything leading up to Easter was just really, really busy. And so now, thankfully, things are slower because it's like Easter also came really quickly after Christmas Eve because Easter was earlier this year. All of that plus being in full-time ministry for the first time, it has been very, very interesting the past 2 weeks. But there have been two things that I learned that I'm going to focus on in this episode, and then I'm going to let y'all go. Okay, so also, just side note, because I may be late, but y'all know that y'all know my day 1, 2, 3, 4, wherever you came in. I'm not going to skip a week. The episodes, it's funny, get later and later, almost borderline skipping weeks, but hey, we out here, you know what I mean? Let's see, what is this, episode 228? So episode 227, I did not promote, and I don't know, like 4.5 years into this journey, and this journey is becoming, it started being for me. This is my therapeutic creative outlet. This is the stuff that I'm leaving behind. So when I'm gone, my kids and even now grandbaby will have years of content to just hear my voice, if nothing else, and see my face. I actually miss recording visuals, and so there's that, but we're not doing that right now. But we will get back to it when I move. And so I don't know. When it comes to promoting my episodes, I don't know. I don't care about that as much anymore. Like, I used to be heavily involved even in like podcast retweet groups. I'm technically still in a couple of chats, but I don't know. I don't participate in that. And I do, if I'm honest, see a decline in my listeners because I'm not promoting it as much as I used to. But then there's a part of me that's like, but I don't really care. Like, I never came into this for this on some, oh, I want to be known as whatever. Now, I love the people that I have met along the way and the friends that I made when I was like heavier in these podcast streets. I mean, there are people the pod crew, we talk to each other every day, even if it's just in the group chat. There are other podcasters that I could call, text, whatever. And so, like, I love all of that. But I don't know. I really haven't been active in these podcast streets lately for a minute. And I don't know, promoting it feels like a burden more so than whatever. And so what I may do is I might at the end of every month be like, in case you missed it, these were the episodes I released this month, and just do it like that. Because also, I don't like my Instagram grid being like solely podcast stuff like it was for a while. Now, granted, that was on me because I was barely like posting anything else. So I've actually tried to be real intentional about posting other stuff. But I don't know. It's just a shift. It's just like, what am I doing this for? It's really for me. Shout out to whoever listens and y'all relate or y'all get some from it or whatever. But this is a therapeutic outlet for me. And it always has been. Like, that's what we've always been here for. So yeah, just know that even if I don't promote, I mean, because there was that month or however long, it wasn't quite a month, when I did a social media fast and didn't promote my episodes at all. And the people that I see are like my core listeners that still listen every week. Shout out to y'all. I mean, they still listened, whether I promoted it or not. So I don't know. But the two things that I have learned this week, I'll say in the past couple weeks, one is I really found myself like in this pity party, like feeling sorry for myself. And it's so wild because now, granted, I have been through a lot in my life. Some of it I talk about on here, a little bit. Some I've talked about more in depth. And so, yeah, granted, there are a lot of things that I could, if I wanted to, feel sorry for myself, quote unquote, I guess I could. I've never been that person, but I really, in the last couple of weeks, found myself like in this pity party. But the beautiful thing, so the things that I learned this week, that kind of go hand in hand, because if it wasn't for one, the other wouldn't have came about. So I'll actually start here. It is so important. And one of the things we talk about at my church, it's still so wild to me that that's where I work, just because I've been at this church so long. So it's more natural for me to say my church than to say my job, even though technically that is my job now. But one of the things we talk about is the importance of being surrounded. And it is so important to have people in your life that not only that you're doing life with, but that like there are people that you feel comfortable being vulnerable with, that there are people that when you are going through something, you can actually talk to them about even maybe the raw emotions that you are feeling. That's so important. And so what's really interesting is, like I said, it's been super busy. It's been an adjustment because I'm also learning a new role. And I realize I am somebody who really struggles in the newness of jobs. Like, I hate when I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And so all of that. And then I just found myself like grieving things. Like I told y'all, all my kids, moved out. So I'm an empty nester and just, all these things, right? And even like going from when I was at my previous full-time job, towards the end of that, like once the pandemic hit, we were working from home. And so I went from basically 3.5 years of either working from home by myself or being pretty autonomous on my own when I was doing my company stuff and the subcontracting stuff. I went from that to like, I'm in ministry and I'm always around people. And it's been a lot, just a lot of changes, good changes though. Like, I'm not complaining at all, but change is change, and change brings about stress. So with that, I am someone who's responsible. I'm on time for stuff and this, that, and the other. And what I love about my supervisors or whatever, knowing that is there's a couple days this week that I was late. Actually, and then I was late for a meeting last week, and that's not me. And so my boss or direct report or whatever is actually the language we use. She called to kind of see if I'm okay. She's like, I notice you don't normally do this because we don't do, like, you be on time. And she's like, and I was able to just really kind of talk to her kind of about what I'm going through, where I'm at. And I love that it's the type of environment where I could be like, hey, this is like what I'm really struggling with, not give some surface. Like when I text and was like, oh, this is why I'm late. It was the real reason. Like one of them was like, I lost track of time. However, it's also, there was so many things going on that I was just kind of like struggling through or whatever. And the interesting thing about it, so then there's the flip side of that. So boom, point number one, it's important to be surrounded. It's important to have people, not just people you're around, because I'm around a lot of people, but people you're around that you can actually be vulnerable with, because there's levels to it. There's especially the creative area, there's like over 100 people that are on our creative team. I'm not going to be telling all 100 of them people every little thing that I'm going through. There's directors. I'm not going to tell every director every little thing that I'm going through because I have like different relationships with different people. But thankfully there are people, and then there are people that they're not necessarily directly in our creative area, like some of the pastors and stuff, but I've actually had relationship with them longer because of how long I've been at this church or whatever, and just the ways that we've served together in different ways, you know what I mean? And so it's so important to have people in your life that you can be vulnerable with, because she, as a result of me being surrounded and being vulnerable, was able to speak life into me. And one of the things she said, and then it's just so crazy because even in staff meeting yesterday, one of the things, and this all goes together, so I'll just say it like this. When we go through things, right, we do need to process the issues of our hearts. We do need to, you may need to go to therapy. You may need to like have a trusted friend that you process. Like that's going to look different for everybody depending on your thoughts, your beliefs, whatever. But as I always say, we need to be mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthy. We all have minds, we all have souls, we all have spirits, and they need to be healthy, because if they're not, it's going to affect the way that we live our lives and also the way that we interact with other people. So that's the other thing I'm always on, aside from being physically healthy, but like be healthy in relationship. And so whatever that looks like for you to process the issues of your heart so that you can be healthy, that's so important. But where I found myself this past couple of weeks is in this cycle of just feeling sorry for myself. And the interesting thing that, as one of the pastors was sharing this illustration about whatever in staff meeting, I'm not going to go all into it. I remember exactly what he said, but I'm not about to go all into that. But as he was sharing this illustration, one of the things he said is that he allowed something that he said would never happen because he felt sorry for, like he started to feel sorry for, it wasn't for himself, but whatever. And that just really hit me, because it's like a lot of times when if I get into like, there's toxic ways that I can cope with things. And it doesn't have to be some extremely negative behavior. It could be me wanting to shut down or wanting to push people away that I don't need to push away when they haven't done anything, because I'm triggered by something, but I'm triggered by something that has nothing to do with them. And then it takes me to this place of, well, why did this happen? Why wasn't I protected? Or why this or why that? Like, that's how I found myself, in the past couple weeks. And the interesting thing about it, especially in one particular area, because I've really struggled lately. It's really wild, but I've really struggled lately with thinking about all of the, I guess we'll just say, situationships that I've had, and just, the lack of actually having, just being single and this, that, and the other. So because of that, I've found myself like feeling sorry for all of the just bad experiences I've had with relationships. But the reality, and I've known this, but the Lord had to remind me of this, is that I wanted things that just weren't good for me. I wanted things that, like, those people were not who I needed to be with. And ultimately, I was saved from unnecessary heartache, and I don't need to feel sorry for myself. You know what I mean? And because I was feeling sorry for myself, it allowed me to be in this place of just pity and spiraling. And then it was just starting to affect all areas of life, because it's like, as a creative, because there's many different aspects of my job, and one of it does require me to tap into the creative side. As a creative, now if I'm writing for myself, that's different. But if I'm writing for someone else, for something else, it's going to take me way longer to accomplish it if I have a lot of emotional mess and turmoil that is like weighing me down. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where I've found myself amidst all the busyness and all that stuff. So my encouragement to you is two things. One, man, make sure you have people in your life that will speak life into you, but also challenge you when needed and call you higher. It is so important to have people like that in your life. And then two, make sure that, like, we can't control what we go through. I can't control even the more like traumatic things that have happened to me. I can't control any of that. All I can control is the way that I respond to it. And then also like how I choose to live my life, and like how I choose to get healing and all that stuff and move forward, and not let it become this like woe is me thing that I just stay stuck on. Like, I still have the power and the authority or whatever to not only move forward, but like not just survive, but thrive. You know what I mean? And so that's my encouragement to y'all. As always, it's always from the heart of take care of yourself mentally, take care of yourself emotionally and spiritually and physically, all so that you can be healthy in your relationship. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love y'all so much, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for Tamara.